Yo, what's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Gurren Otaku Council podcast, everybody. This is episode 104, and we got a lot to talk about this week, everybody. We
Hmm.
got a lot to talk about. But of course, if you'd like to join me, my friend McMillian, as we discuss all things anime and sometimes manga, then please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, as well as follow us on our social media so you can stay up to date on all things about the council, everybody. With that being said, the council is now in session. Let the meeting begin. All right, everybody. As always, thank you all for joining us for another week. I hope everybody's doing super fantastic. How you doing today, McMillian?
I'm doing good, my friend. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. Well, it's been a minute since we last spoke to you all, everybody. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back.
Hmm.
We got a few things to talk about this week. So, starting us off with the council announcements, everybody, we just want to remind everybody that you can join us for our weekly reactions for To Be Hero X, as well as our weekly One Piece discussions, everybody. You can join me for those weekly One Piece discussions. Both of those things are currently going on now, so just meet us on over there, everybody.
Hmm.
All right. And now, as far as today's agenda, everybody, we got two reviews for you, everybody, and then we got a special for news. So, the reviews we got today, everybody, we got Blue Exorcists, all of the new seasons. So, that's the
Beyond the
Illuminati
Snow.
saga, the Blue Knight
Okay.
saga, and the Beyond the Snow saga, everybody. And then we're going to be talking about the Seven Deadly Sins, Four Nights of the Apocalypse, season 1 and 2. We told you guys we are going to talk about it. Here we are. And then, of course, for GLC News, everybody, this week we got the Anime Award, Crunchyroll Anime Award special, everybody. So stick
Hmm.
around for that as well. But all right, with all that being said, everybody, I'm just going to pass on to my friend McMillian here, who's going to start us off with the Seven Deadly Sins review, everybody.
All right.
And while you do that, I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. So Seven Deadly Sins season two, season one and two. Obviously this picks up uh after the movie event that we got on Netflix, and we get to meet our new characters, um, who are what? Hold on, give me 1 second. Uh, Percival, Nascience, Danny, Engelhad, and well, Sin, who later reveals himself to be Lancelot. Um, and we get to find out basically that they're going to be fighting or going up against uh, the nation of Camelot, and Arthur's messed up, infected by Sin ass, and all his de-influenced knights and stuff like that. Like it, that whole shebang. Before they meet up with I was gonna say the Seven Deadly Sins, but that's technically not who they meet up with. They meet up at the Kingdom of Leonis to meet the other knights of the Apocalypse. Um, and yeah, we get another adventure in the Kingdom of Leonis in the world of. Do they ever? The world of Seven Deadly Sins. I don't know if they ever actually call
Britannia.
the. Oh, okay, yeah, the country, yeah, in the world of Britannia. So, um, phew,
It's an adventure, all right. It's an
yeah,
adventure.
yeah.
You know,
The creator of the Natsu no of Jesus Christ, I don't know why I keep wanting to say the Japanese name. The creator of Seven Deadly Sins, I just check his hard drives.
now check his hard drive.
I'm just I have concerns, but other than
I'm done. Hey, hey,
that,
hey. Some people may have asked, did we even need this sequel to Seven Deadly Sins? And some
yeah,
people may have said, no, we didn't need this sequel. And I might be of that people. I might be on that side. We didn't need this. We could have just let this. We could have just let this been an afterthought, right? We could have just thought for ourselves what the hell Arthur was gonna do with chaos and all that stuff. We didn't have to actually, unfold this, right? We didn't have to unfold the story, but here we are. Here we are.
yeah. To piggyback off that, I would also probably say I'm one of the people that probably wouldn't have wanted a Seven Deadly Sins sequel. So because I wasn't that big of a fan of how they decided to end the original Seven Deadly Sins. But I was at least a little bit optimistic from when they released the movie, because I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I like Tristan. I'm liking Lancelot. This is an interesting like thing that they're doing, and then we get Percival, and I want to like the character. I really do. Unfortunately, I cannot bring myself to do so.
Yeah, no, I thought I was the only one. No, I can't really mess with Percival either. It's just he ain't sticking with me. He ain't sticking with me at
I mean,
all.
it'd be different like because what do I want to say? Meliodas and Percival, I feel like on paper aren't that too different of characters. They're both
Hmm.
silly. They're both like stronger than what they appear. The difference is, I think, with like Meliodas, he has like really good serious moments. They didn't give none of that to Percy. Like none of that.
You got this kid out here running around Britannia. First of all, he don't know nothing about the world, so he's learning, learning about the world as he goes. And then on top of that, just helping out both friend and foes alike. It doesn't matter. Everybody, this motherfucker friend. Everybody can't be your friend, Percival.
Yeah, and that's also such an interesting like difference I think between Seven Deadly Sins and this is because it's like we're good guys, but we don't have this. We don't. It's not like this weird moral standing. And this one,
Yeah.
he really the author really wants to be like, no, don't kill people, live nice, be happy. And I'm just like, are they not at war with a crazy king in a different dark dimension? I don't know if this is the message we should be sending.
That man is trying to take over all of reality right now.
And
Like,
I don't know if we should be making friends with these people. It seems like they made their choice, and I won't lie. Like some of the time, it works. Like I thought the episode in season one with Gauther protecting the village of demons,
mhm.
and then that knight who worked for Arthur having a change of heart. I thought that was a good demonstration of like the moral quandary of like are all of Arthur's knights evil or
Evil, yeah.
whatnot. Everything after that though just feels like lazy. It's like no, don't kill them. They're people. Don't do it. Save them. Up to the point in when season two where he loses the coffin or was it the hand of the coffin or whatever,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, what are we doing?
We gotta make some type of plot. I mean, it just also for me, I just think, in general, nothing about the story has really caught me yet, right? It's
The
just we're just it's just really just the four knights banding together to go defeat the evil King Arthur, right? So
uh-huh.
it's really nothing more complicated than that. Nothing about none of the story points that we've seen so far has really grabbed me so far. Like you said, I think the most interesting one was like you just mentioned that the knight and that whole situation with Gauther, right?
Hmm.
That was probably the most interesting thing in the season so far, but it's just I don't know. Then they're trying to be so secretive about Percival. We learned
Yeah.
a couple of more stuff about him, at the end of the season. But even that stuff we learned about him, I'm just like, okay, and like,
I feel, but to me, the thing, the problem with that specifically that I have with like Percy, the reveal of what Percy is, the biggest issue I have with that is that in nowhere in season one, in all of Seven Deadly Seasons, did they establish anything about life spirits.
if
Like
they did, I don't remember, but
I,
I'm with you there.
I'm just like no one mentioned these things, and then it pisses me off because when they met Hendrickson
Hmm.
and he uh like recognized like all these are like you have like life energy or some shit like that. I'm just like, how dare you? You because he existed all throughout the original series and didn't say shit about this. I'm just like, don't make this character the excuse for this.
Not how dare you.
It just felt again. It just felt like real lazy. But besides that, also like I agree with you. In this story, there's nothing really like as opposed to Seven Deadly Sins. There's no major draw to like me, and which sucks because like I said, I really liked the stuff they established for Tristan and Lancelot in the
Hmm.
movie, and
Hmm.
then in this series, I feel like they only give stuff to Lancelot. Like he's as strong as the original Seven Deadly Sins members are. due to some freak accident that they never explain.
They explained it. He ended up in purgatory. Some shit happened to him, and he
Oh,
came out
okay.
stronger.
I might have missed that. I just know they said he disappeared and then came back stronger.
He ended up in purgatory with old girl. Old girl fell in love with him. Then she was like, "Oh, I gotta leave because I can't be in love with the kid." Which you're
Yeah,
correct. You can't be doing that.
that
And
was
she was like, "Oh, I can't. I'm gonna leave." And instead of just like distance herself from him, she's like, "Okay, I'm gonna go."
go work for Arthur.
Thank you. I'm like,
I love this child and it's his father so much. I'm going to go work for the bad guy. Huh?
thank you. Like,
Ma'am?
okay, like
First off, pedophilia. Second, ma'am?
that was the answer you came to go work for the arch nemesis. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? It's just at this point, the only redeeming thing about Four Nights of the Apocalypse, at least for me, is all Lancelot's fights. Right, whenever he fight, he always popping off.
I will agree with you there. Anytime he's him and Tristan, honestly, because I really like Tristan's fight with Arthur, even though he lost. But like that was I really enjoyed how they juxtaposed. Like, all right, this is what happens when he uses all of his goddess powers.
Yeah.
This is what it's like when he uses all of his demon like powers. I was like, this is again what I was hoping to see from the series. But instead we get like the Percival, and then you got probably the most annoying character to me, besides Percy, Gawain, and I'm just like,
Okay, let's get there. Then I thought we was gonna get to Gwen a little bit later, but we
sorry.
can touch up on Gwen. That's all right.
It's just because
I'm with you there because when they first did the reveal of Gwen, because that's when everybody get together, right? When they first did the reveal, and I was like, I know they did not just reskin Escanor and then just tried to reship it to me like this. I was like, are you serious right now?
But the problem is it's Escanor with less sauce and more annoyance.
Thank you. None of the sauce that Escanor has. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
Because like even depowered Escanor, like when he wasn't like the strongest member of the Seven Deadly Sins. I still like this character. He was kooky, but like he was still a decent character. Gawain, I'm just like every time you do something, you make
and
me
I can't
feel
remember if it's been
uncomfortable.
confirmed or not, but I think she does have sunshine.
Or some type of version of it, or something like that, because she's also supposed to be like incredibly strong. Does not seem like she knows fully what she's capable of. So I'm assuming probably later on they'll do something. But like her character itself is an issue to me because I'm just like nothing about you is. I don't like anything about her. That's the problem. Like.
I'm with you there. The only thing that's saving her right now is that she's just the Escanor reskin, but even that is not really doing it for me. I'm really more upset that the author really just sat here and did this. But you know what? It's okay. We're here. It might get better over time, but it is what it is right now. And then speaking of just the Gawain, overall, right, in the entire show from season 1 through 2, y'all thought the fan service in Fire Force was horrible.
Oh my god.
Y'all thought the fan service in Fire Force was horrible. This show puts Fire Force to shame. It straight up puts Fire Force to shame. So I will say, if you're not a fan of fan service in general, this definitely one you might want to skip out on.
Yeah, yeah, because they just be doing shit to do shit. Like they don't. It's not even like. Yeah, it's not well thought out. It's just there.
Oh my gosh, it's just it got to the point where I literally stopped watching it for a second, for a hot minute, like 2 weeks in a row. And I was just like, what am I watching? What am I watching right now? I'm like, what am I watching right now? I don't know. It just okay. Let's talk about some positives, right? Okay, some positives. Yeah. Okay, right. I'm not gonna be all negative. It does have some redeeming stuff. So as far as animation wise, beautiful animation, right? Shout
Hmm.
out to the animators, right? You guys are doing an amazing job. It is beautifully well animated. You guys can't, you guys don't handle what you're adapting, right? That's
Yep.
not up to
Yep.
you. But the show does look good for what it is worth, though,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
Two, I don't know if this is a good idea or a bad idea, but for whatever reason, they did not decide to use the CGI from the movies inside of the standard show. I guess they decided to go a different route for the show.
Hmm.
But like even for like just a few of the fight scenes, it doesn't look like they even use CGI
Yeah. I would say it's
unless I just missed it or something and
I
couldn't see
I
it.
haven't really noticed it. I would have thought like if they did it at all, it probably wouldn't. We got Albion introduced and all the stuff that was happening in the underworld. But no, it's mostly it's seems pretty solid to the animation. Um, I will say, even though like like I said, the show is really kind of like the issue because I think the sandbox it introduces is interesting. Like the things within the story that it introduces is interesting. Like for instance, the world of Camelot and how chaos interacts and all that, and also like the
Yeah.
people Arthur has working for him. Like Percival's dad is a very interesting character to me because I'm just like, you just try to murder your son and you keep doing it and you don't seem to have an issue. And then you get and then you have Percival's uncle who got introduced at the end of season 2, and even he seems to be like totally chill with it. And I'm so like that mystery is interesting. You have like the power of chaos and all the things that like it is propagating and stuff like that, and then also like the like we get to learn more about like the demon world after Meliodas' brother took it over and how that's going. Like these are interesting things. It's just I feel like the show doesn't do enough with them to kind of like I don't know make it it's not what's the word I'm looking make it entertaining or make it like draw you in. It's kind of just like every so often you get like a bit of spice and then it's
Yeah.
nothing. It's like it's like you're eating a meal and every so often you hit a pocket of flavor like that's good. Is there more of this? Like
I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. And the fight scenes are handled well enough,
Mhm.
right? Especially like you said, like we mentioned earlier, the Lancelot fights and the Tristan fights. Those are done nice. Not all the Percival fights are great, but Percival did have some standout moments, like
Mhm.
the fight between him and his dad. That shit was actually kind of nice. And that shit was
Yeah.
crazy. So that is one another good redeeming quality about the show. The fights are very well animated and choreographed as well. They had what 5 7 years of Seven Deadly. So
Yeah. I was about to say there's also some good tense moments like when Tristan's one of Tristan's knights, I believe his name's Jade, ends up
that guy's he got a loose screws.
no, that's the other one.
Oh, you
What's
talking about? Oh, that's Keon. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Keon need to go somewhere.
They need
Ke-
to lock his ass up. They need to lock. I really don't know if this man is friend or foe at this point. I just don't know. I just don't
No,
know.
Keon need to go somewhere. But spoiler alert: if you have not watched season 2, although we've kind of been spoilery all throughout, but like in season 2, Tristan's knight Jade passes like dies, and the way it happens, I'm not was pretty like they did it very well,
Yeah,
and that like that was a really good tense I think moment for the show because a lot of characters in that moment like grew in different ways and I was like, see, if we had more things like this, I think this would be a much better show. Like right now, if I had to say, it's kind of like mid tier. It's not like terrible, but it's not good, like great either. Like it's okay.
yeah. It's
Um,
not terrible yet. Excuse me. Overall, I think this is probably one of those shows where I'll probably just watch after like the full season is out. And
yeah,
I ain't got really much else to watch, and I'll just catch up for really just all the hype fights and really all that. I don't really too much care for the story or the characters. Really just the fights at this point.
yeah. So I think we could probably. I feel like we touched on everything. You want to just like rate this one, and then we could go to news. Like out of season 1 and 2 together, out of 10. What,
Together,
mm-hmm. together. I don't want to do set. If I do separate, I
Okay,
feel like
so
once
season 2 is definitely a lot stronger than season
season
1,
one.
I will say. But together overall, I give it a 6.
Okay, I would agree. Yeah, season one definitely is the weaker of the two. See, like and I feel like it's not to be harsh, but season one is really just introducing kind of like Percy's group, and
Yeah.
their group isn't a bad group. It's more of just like the things they give these characters to do isn't the most interesting thing.
Their powers are kind of interesting.
So yeah,
I would at least say that.
I would say their powers are interesting. I don't even like dislike them as characters. It's just like everything you put around these characters is kind of just like very right? Like it's just okay.
Yeah.
Um and then season 2 really kind of I think brings some of the like I said the more story heavy like the more interesting things that this show
Mhm.
probably should focus on into the mix. So uh I would say altogether with both of them it's like it's a 6 as well. With that being said, if this show, right now there's no confirmation if Seven Deadly Four Nights is coming back. I would assume so based on how they left it because they just leave it in the middle of the cliffhanger in the middle of a battle. That it most likely will get worked on unless everybody shares the sentiment of me and Ace. Then yeah, fuck it, the manga's there if y'all want to go. I don't know if it does come back. I'd probably be like Ace. I might just let it sit until the season's done and then watch it like that. But
Yeah. For all you Seven Deadly Sins fans out there, if you do decide to watch it, just you're really watching it for the fights at this point. And then for any just new fans in general, just leave it alone. Just leave it alone. Don't touch it. I'm
I
not
would
even gonna hold
agree.
you. Don't touch it. If
I
you
know
haven't
I
seen
would.
the original Seven Deadly, there's no point in even watching this. I'm not
No,
even gonna hold you.
I would definitely agree with that. With that advice, right? If you're a fan of Four Nights and we just like maybe we're not seeing what you're seeing, let me know. All right, like let me know because I'd love to probably like get why because from my understanding when the manga came out, a lot of people were enjoying this series.
Well, the manga also maybe not have like all that fan service in it as well too, so it might also be a little bit more enjoyable from that standpoint as
Yeah,
well.
potentially. I just want to know like if the pacing is better in the manga because that could also be a thing because there's sometimes one of the things I feel like the show
I mean,
isn't
I don't
great
think the
on.
pacing was necessarily bad per se, because like you said, season one was introducing everybody,
Well, it's
all
not
his crew,
maybe
and they all had their own little story arcs essentially.
maybe pacing isn't what I mean, but maybe it's like maybe it flows better in the manga format than it would in
I
anime.
get what you're saying. Yeah.
Like that's just like maybe pacing isn't the word I'm looking for. Maybe flow might be because I don't know. Just watching the anime, sometimes it does not feel like it flows well, but maybe in the manga it's different. But yeah, no, I'd say 6 is fair. Like this, like I said before, I think this was an okay show. I don't think it's like bad, but I also don't think it's like great. Like if anybody was asking me to recommend it, I would just be
Yeah,
like,
it's not great,
it's
but it's not horrible,
yeah.
right?
I'd be like, I mean, like if anybody were to ask my opinion on if they should watch it, I'd probably be like, if you're really into Seven Deadly Sins and like the world, sure. Like I'd probably say check it out. You probably get some enjoyment out of it, but like how much is dependent on the person. But if you didn't care much for the world of Britannia, probably no.
Yeah, no, just I wouldn't even. Yeah, if
Yeah.
you didn't even like Seven Deadly, you're definitely not gonna like Four Nights of the Apocalypse. So
Hmm.
I wouldn't even waste your time. But all right, everybody. Yeah. So moving on from there, everybody, it is now time for I hope your favorite part of the show because it's my favorite part of the show. Everybody, it is time for GOC News, your weekly source for your favorite anime news. Let's get into it. All right, everybody. So this week for GOC News, we got a special edition. This is the Crunchyroll Anime Awards for the year of our Lord 2025, everybody. Unfortunately, I don't know why they don't hold the Crunchyroll Anime Awards at the end of the year, like on December or some shit for that year. But
Yeah, they. I
because it's
think.
always confusing because the 2025 year is basically for all of the year of 2024, and that unfortunately it led into a lot of issues in my opinion with this
Yeah, I was gonna say.
year's
I think.
voting.
I think that's generally how award shows go. But yes, I think this one specifically because of when they held it caused well what you're about to see. Do we want to give general news before we get into?
No, we'll do general news after this.
Okay, all
Yeah,
right.
yeah. So I mean, I'm not even gonna hold back. We're gonna stop right at the motherfucking top, everybody. We gonna stop right at the top. We gonna get right into it, everybody.
Why not?
Anime of the motherfucking year, Solo Leveling. And I just wanna say, recency bias reared its motherfucking head. Me and
Yeah.
McMillian talked about this last episode. We said we hope Solo Leveling recency bias don't end up being an issue. And unfortunately, it kind of was, because in my opinion,
No, not kinda. It was. Like,
oh
let's
well,
just call a
well,
spade a
yes, it was,
spade.
because in my opinion, when this nomination was for season one, everybody, right? Season one, and here, look at me in my eyes when I say this. Season one of Solo Leveling does not hold a candle. I'm gonna repeat that. Season one of Solo Leveling does not hold a candle to none of those other nominations. Like, what are we doing here?
And it really upsets me because anytime, and we might, I don't know if we'll get it under our comment section, so I'm gonna just say it right here. Like, anytime I see people criticizing this online, the solo leveling fanboys are out to defend. And here's my thing, guys. Here's my thing. I feel like you would agree with me. Season one was not that great of a show. Like, it was good. No one's saying it wasn't good.
It
but
wasn't animated year good.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if it was, because here's, and if you're one of those people who's like, no, they nominated season two of Soul Leveling, and I need you to listen to me, take the wax of the ears when I say this, was called Solo Leveling. Was it Arise from the Shadows? Right? If they nominated season two, what the full title would have been on there. They also would have used a different key visual, because the key visual they used for the voting
Season one
was season one ski visual.
Season two didn't even air until what, this year, January, right? Somewhere around there, January, February.
Yeah,
it was when it came
because
out.
it was our reaction. Well, I think it either started end of last year and then went into early this year. But like, regardless, I know it was early this year because our reaction videos are times have dates on them.
We got the evidence.
But man, I Freerin got robbed for anime. Honestly,
Yeah,
like any of the other.
no, just to and also just to refresh people's memory real quick. The nominations for anime of the year was Dan to Dan, Delicious in Dungeon, Fear and Beyond's Journey in, Kaiju number 8, Solo Leveling, and The Apothecary Diaries. And once again, Solo Leveling is nowhere in the same realm as any of those other shows for season one. I'm sorry, just season one it just does not touch any of these other shows. None of them, from all the way from Delicious in Dungeon to the fucking Apothecary Diaries. Not a single one. Not a single one. Recency bias really showed his head, and it's just unfortunately that a show that really deserved it, should have won. But any of these other shows would have been more deserving. Any of those other nominations.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, and I know recency bias was the thing for this one, just because the anime awards are fully like fan voted. Like, I don't even know if they
Well, they're not
have.
fully fan voted,
They're
but
not?
yes, they're a big part of it. Yes.
Okay, well, I know fan voting is a big part of like what leans to it, and so I could just feel it that everybody that was going in there voting for. Oh yeah, so that season of Solo Level was amazing. That's all anybody was talking about. No, but it was the second season, guys. It was the second season.
It's
It was
okay.
the
I just knew some BS like that was gonna happen, man. I just knew it was gonna happen. But it's okay though. But I said my piece. Solo Leveling season one, it can't touch any of those other shows, those nominations. I'm
No,
sorry,
I would.
it just
I
didn't.
fully agree with you, my friend. Fully agree.
But as far as some other awards that Solo Leveling did win, they also won Best New Series, Best Action Anime, and Best Main Character. They definitely shouldn't have won Best Main Character.
I don't look. Y'all Solo Leveling fans could cook me all you want. Could cook me all you want.
Oh my gosh! I don't even care if this was. I don't even care if this was season 2. Sun Jin Woo.
Let's have a real conversation here. Sun Jin Woo is a power fantasy insert character. All right?
Thank you.
Like, he don't got. He has like no personality. I just see. like his personality, and I know he has no personality because the jokes about him are just aura farming. You there, there's not a guy behind that. And now some people, I have seen some people say online that in the original like novel that Solo Leveling is based off of, you can actually get a lot more about like insight on Sun Jin Woo. But the thing is, we're not talking novel.
We're
We're not
not.
talking comic.
We're
We're
talking
talking
about the
the
anime
anime.
adaptation here, everybody. I'm
And
sorry.
unfortunately, Solo Level and Sun Jin Woo's character is, I wonder if I could kill that to get stronger. Okay, I
Pretty
can.
much. Oh, bet.
Yeah,
Oh,
nice.
he's too strong for me. I'm gonna come back later.
Later. That's like the two modes. The most we get out of the most personality we get out of Sun Jin Woo is in season 1, and it's like what the first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And then after that, he is just get stronger man. And then the next time we even see a little bit of his personality after that is when he saves his mom. It's like the two greatest instances of Sun Jin Woo's personality coming out.
Yeah, the most emotions you probably saw to Sun Jin Woo was episode 1 when that man died, and then the episode when he saved his mom. That's the most emotions you got out of Jin Woo.
Other than that, that is get stronger, man. That is that is that is his personality. Can I get stronger from it? I'm gonna kill it. I'm gonna make it a part of my army.
Oh man, but it's okay though. We still love you out there, Solo Level fans. We still love you. Don't get it twisted. We still love you.
I don't. Yeah, I don't want this to be like it's not a good show because it is a good show.
Yes, it's a good show, but
But
unfortunately,
goddamn,
this was this nomination was for season 1 and season 2. But like I said, even if it was season 2, I mean, but yeah, I will say season 2 you got a little bit more talking point, right? But season 1, let's just be real. It's just come on, guys, come on. But moving on from there, because enough of Solo Leveling, right? Let's talk about a real show now. Fear is Beyond Journey In, everybody. It won a couple of anime awards this year as well. So the awards it won is the following: Best Background Art, Best Drama Anime, Best Supporting Character, and specifically Fern won that one, and then Best Director. And hopefully, I'm gonna let you try and pronounce his name.
Okay, Keiichiro Sato.
There we go. All right. Those were the awards that Fear and Beyond's Journey End won, everybody.
Yep.
Very well deserved awards in my opinion. The background art definitely was, because we talked about that one specifically, and I said that for me it was either between Dungeon Menchie and Fear and Beyond's Journey End. Yeah. So I'm not mad with this at all.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was a toss up between those two. Honestly, if anything else won, I would have called probably like bullshit for that. Because I'm just saying, like, those shows, like specifically fantasy shows, I think are hard to beat for background art because like they're the most probably like involved in that aspect. The only other series like type of show that could probably compete with a fantasy show background art would be like a sci-fi, depending on like the setting and stuff like that. But like Fear is Beyond Journey's End definitely got should have won far and away those two series. I think the only other thing I think for drama anime that I could have saw winning was Apothecary Diaries because that's like I haven't watched it yet, but that's like what a lot of people talked about also as well.
I didn't watch it yet either, but I heard a lot of good things about it though. And I believe it got a season 2 already as well. So
it's been announced. It's on its way. And then supporting character for Fern, I think is very well deserved. I know that also had hilarious. A decent amount of like competition, but Fern definitely I thought was like I think is a standout character within the show. So.
Yeah, Fern's competition was Himmel, also from Fern, Jinshi from Apothecary Diaries, Psycho from Granny Psycho from Dan Dan, Shinshi from Delicious in Dungeon, my boy Shinshi, and then Turbo Granny from Dan Dan as well.
Yeah, so I would say that's very steep competition. Even in her own show, she's going up against another good character. Gonna go with, but like Fern is a great character.
Unfortunately, I don't think Himmel just have enough screen time to really pull it off, right? But he did his thing though. He did his thing.
Yep.
But moving on from there, everybody, the Demon Slayer Hashira training arc also won a couple of awards, everybody. So they won Best Animation and Best Continuing Anime Series. Now, you always know, everybody, from me, every year, my bias anime pick for Best Continuing Anime Series is just One Piece. It's going to always be One Piece. argue with your mama. All right,
I
but
think
hey.
that's such a I think I might have said this last time we covered the anime awards, but it's such an interesting thing to see One Piece up there because it is the longest running anime as far as we know right now. It's like the longest one of the longest running anime series. So it's always funny to see that because I'm just like I feel like technically by default this should win, but but like you have to have other winners of this
I
category.
feel
So
you,
like
yeah.
but like
All
even
right.
I who haven't watched a lot of One Piece would probably like be like, this is technically One Piece's award, but like we should also there should be like two winners here.
One Piece is the definition of ongoing anime
Yeah.
series.
So I just so it's always just funny to see like, okay, One Piece probably should be winning
I
this, but
don't know
what's the
what
other one, right?
nominations Demon Slayer was actually running against. I'm not even sure One Piece was actually in the nomination or not, to be honest with you guys.
Oh yeah.
But would I have given to season 3? I mean, the Hospital Train arc wasn't all that. It was nice for like character development, it's it's things like that and a little bit of world building, but it wasn't all that though. But I mean,
No, it's a
congratulations though to Demon
yeah, that's
Slayer.
cool. I would say as a person who's read like the series, this is a very interesting. It's this arc specifically is legitimately just like preamble to like the last arc. It is just like why are these people this good in this arc specifically, right? So like
Let me
it's
show you what they're
yeah,
capable of before we show you what really they're
we
capable
exactly
of.
like basically like we have to establish why they're not getting their ass beat in this castle. Okay. So it's always interesting because I'm like it's not bad, but it is probably like the most boring arc of Demon Slayer because it is legitimately just like training and learning and getting like backstory information about some
Yeah,
other
but it
characters.
still does serve a purpose though.
Mm-hmm.
It still does serve a purpose though. But all right, everybody. So moving on to from there, next up we got Dan to Dan. So Dan to Dan won a couple of awards, starting off with best character design, best anime song opening, and best anime song in general. Well, this is the
Mm-hmm.
opening, but and then just best opening sequence. I guess I'm wondering what's
I
the
think
distinguish between the two. One, I
I
guess one is for the song, and then one is just like the
mm-hmm.
animation, like the sequence
sequence. Yeah.
together of the OP.
So
Okay.
the way I think about it is in the Grammys specifically. There's a category for um, best song and then like uh, best production or something like that.
Yeah.
One is specifically like for the song. The other is like for the like the producers
The
engagement.
production work
Yeah,
and
like
stuff. Yeah.
yeah. So I think for this one, it's separated by like the actual song, and then the other is like the song plus the animation
Yeah, the
behind.
actual visuals and stuff
Mhm.
for the OP. Yeah, I'll give it to him. I'll give
Yeah,
it to
I
him.
mean, anime song to me, I think that's very fair. Like so many people who didn't, I would say, didn't even know about Dan to Dan, learned about it through the song
Through
because
the song.
so many
Yeah,
people were playing that song
because it was also
specifically.
the same guy who did the Marshall
Mashal. Hmm.
season 2 song as well. I think he also did season 1 as well, but he also did the Marshall OP as well. So there it also got people talking about it because he had just came off of that as well. So
Hmm. But I'm just saying, like that was
but yeah,
song was everywhere. Like people were
yeah,
making memes out
it
of the song.
was.
Like aside, like outside of Dan to Dan, that song was going crazy. So like and that makes sense to me. Best opening sequence. Honestly, yeah. Also very valid. I think like it had the visuals for Dan to Dan season 1 opening was great. And if you've seen the trailer for the second one out, it looks like they might be coming for that as well.
They cooking. They cooking just a little.
Uh-huh.
They cooking. They cooking. All right, everybody, and then we're just gonna briefly go through the rest of these awards here. So starting up with best comedy anime, everybody. Masters Magic and Muscle season 2 won this one. Everybody.
Hmm.
Moving on from there for best isekai anime, we got ReZero starring in Another Life season 3. Everybody. Best anime film of the year. Look Back. I don't know what that is. I'm gonna have to look that
It's
one up.
by the same creator of Chainsaw Man.
Okay, bet.
Hmm.
Interesting, interesting. Next up, Global Impact Award, everybody, Attack on Titan. And
That was a specialty award, just so everyone knows.
it
Like it
was.
was.
I guess I'll give it to you, Attack on Titan. You did have a global impact, but you did a little, you did a little milking on your final season though. But you know what? We're gonna let you have this though. We're gonna let
I
you have this.
I like how you said a little milking, and we all know it was an astronomical amount of milking. I ain't never seen the final part 3 Final part.
Yeah, no, they pulled out some new stuff before then, especially already in the the era of what's the I'm looking for, cores in
Yeah.
anime now and things of that nature. Boy, they pulled this
You
shit
could
out
have
their
just,
ass,
yeah.
boy.
It was just very funny to see final part one, part two, and like
I was like, "There's no way that there's even more." There, as the final season kept going on, I was so confused. I was like, "What do you mean this is the final season of the final season? What do you mean this is part three of the final season? What do you mean this is the final part of the final season?" Attack on Titan? What are we doing? Was this not was? What are we doing?
and the final season of the movie, which was even crazy. But hey,
Oh my god!
after that we have best original series. Surprisingly, Ninja Kamui took that.
Hella surprisingly, but hey,
Uh, I mean, hey, big shout out to Ninja Kamui.
big
Uh,
shout out.
Best romance anime, we got Blue Box, which I've also heard good things about. And then last but not least, best slice of life anime, Makine, I think it's that, or Makine, I think it's how you pronounce it.
There you go.
Too Many Losing Heroines. I've also heard some good things about Too Many Losing Heroines. So, congratulations to all the winners except probably like Soul Leveling Sweep because because yeah, recency bias was the theme of that.
I'm done. Recency bias was a thing. It was, unfortunately. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. It is very unfortunate. And you know what? We're gonna come right back around because you thought we forgot about you, solo leveling. You thought we forgot about you because I want to touch back on this. How the hell did y'all let solo leveling beat Bleach for best action? That's what I want to know.
Oh
How did y'all let
yeah,
that happen? How did y'all
I
let that
forgot.
happen?
You know what? I forgot. That is very
How did
egregious
y'all let that
considering
happen?
again considering what season of Bleach was nominated and what season of Soul Level was nominated. Because if it was two, maybe, but like this one, I'd 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 argue no. I got to see a lady. I got to see them kill a giant god owl of light. Like yeah, Bleach kind of takes it. Bleach takes
I just don't know how y'all let that win over Bleach. I'm just damn you recency bias.
it.
Rock Nation shall crumble.
All right.
Oh man.
Oh man. All right.
But
Moving
just to
on from
round out
there.
news, everybody here.
Yeah.
You go ahead. I'm gonna hand it off McMillan. He's gonna go over some general news, everybody, to round out
Yep.
news.
All right. So for general news, for all those who are waiting, Sakamoto Days is getting its second part. Finally coming out in July 14th. They released a new trailer slash teaser for this, and it also revealed their new opening song. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out. Togen Enki, the highly anticipated action series of the next anime season, is getting a July 11th premiere, as well as a theatrical screening, just like how Data Dane is getting. So the advanced theater screening of the anime is going to show the first three episodes, and we're unsure if it's coming to America because right now it's just in Japan. It's going to be at a specific theater in Tokyo on the 21st. So if you're hoping to not like no spoilers, no spoilers, just be aware that some early shots could end up online if we don't get the theatrical release in the West.
Yeah.
After that, Shueisha announced a very interesting thing. So, for those that don't know, Shonen Jump Plus platform is getting its 10th anniversary this year, and because of that, Shueisha revealed that they're having Wit Studio, Studio Contrail, and Production IG are going to animate different one-shot mangas that all premiere on the Shonen Jump Plus app.
Nice.
And it's anyone's guess on what those could those one shots could be. But a lot, I would imagine, with those studios doing it, with Studio
They're gonna
Production
pick some
IG,
popular ones.
yeah, they're gonna probably pick some popular ones, and I'm really interested to see what comes out of that. After that, Crunchyroll and Netflix. If you did not know this, Crunchyroll and Netflix have added My Hero Your Next film. Due to this, me and Ace do plan on watching it and reviewing it since we did miss the theater release.
Yep,
So
yep,
be
yep.
on the lookout for that. Next up, like I said before, Dan Dan, they released a new teaser for Dan Dan, and in it they revealed their new opener. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out. It does sound good.
The teaser does look
Look
crazy as
crazy,
well. Like
yes.
season two, season two look like it's gonna be a crazy time.
Hmm. Definitely, definitely. And then last but not least, we got some information that Bleach, the last part, part four,
The
Calamity,
fatal part.
will is going to get some news that's planned to be revealed at Anime Expo this year, which is occurring July 3rd through the 6th. Specifically, the Bleach news is coming on July 4th, so be on the lookout for that.
And of course, everybody, always be on the lookout for our coverage of Anime Expo as well this year. And all the major highlights from Anime Expo, of course, we're gonna be covering them. So don't worry, we got you guys covered.
Yep. Before we move on to our last thing, I'd just like to give the weekly recommendation
There
for
you
all
go.
those who have not seen it. This is a newer anime. I think came out sometime within the spring season of last year. But it's an isekai. It's called Returner's Magic Should Be Special. Quick, brief synopsis. In a land dominated by the formidable shadow worlds, most of humanity has been destroyed. To rescue their planet from an impending doom, six brave heroes fight a perilous battle and fail. But there's a glimpse of hope when Desir, one of the last mages, is suddenly sent back in time 13 years. Now armed with the knowledge of the grim future, can he alter the course of history and save the world? This show is one season currently that are 12, made up of 12 episodes, and the season is subbed and dubbed in multiple languages, streaming on Crunchyroll. The show is is honestly pretty very interesting. I know a lot of us are probably
Is
sick of like isekai stories, but this one takes place like in a magic academy, not only for like regular mages but also like battle mages, as Ace will put it,
there we go.
mages with swords and things of that nature. And the main character, is basically trying to figure out how to best prepare his squad of people, the people he knows is going to be in the end battle, uh, to deal with some of like the conflict they're going to be in, but also trying to make sure they have the best chances. So he's changing the course of events, and so that everybody it ends up in the favor of
Them,
the human race, basically.
humanity. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there gonna be another season or is it a one and done?
I don't know. From last I heard, there is plans, I believe, to do a second season.
Okay.
But it's been a little bit quiet recently on like it, so time will tell. But
Gotcha.
it was a very enjoyable watch. So do
Gotcha.
go check it
Gotcha.
out.
All right, everybody. Once again, this week's weekly recommendation: a returner's magic should be special for everybody. All right. Thank you for that, McMillian. And
Mm-hmm.
now, with that being said, everybody, we're going to head into our last topic for today, everybody. Our Blue Exorcist Season 3 review, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And we mean all the season review. Season 3, everybody.
Yep.
All the way from Shime Illuminati Saga to the Beyond the Snow and to, yes, the Blue Knight Saga, everybody. Step into our office.
Step to it.
Step into our office. Blue Exorcist fans, rise up. Rise up. Rise up, everybody. It's been, what, 5-7 years since
Yeah.
we was waiting for season 3 to drop, maybe even a little bit longer than that. Is we've been waiting for a little hot minute, and I'm glad they decided that when they returned that they said, you know what, we ain't gonna take no more little long ass breaks. We coming back and we gonna give y'all this story, and that's exactly what they're doing. And I'm glad. I really appreciate that from them, very
Yeah.
much.
No, definitely. I thought they did a great job with with like their return. Shin Illuminati Saga was very interesting. The Beyond the Snow Saga arc wasn't that bad. It wasn't bad, but it was just kind of like
Yeah.
eh. It was like a bridge. It was like a bridge. It was a bridge thing. And then the Blue Knight Saga,
Oh, that's where it was
honestly,
at.
that was great.
That's where it was
That was
at.
yeah. That was truly a spectacle to watch, because I feel like if you watch Blue Exorcist, you were definitely waiting to see like the whole like what is up with not only like the order, but also how did we get Rin and Yuki in the first place, and they did a
Yeah.
great job with telling that story. Um,
So I mean, I guess we're just gonna slowly give our thoughts about season 3 as a whole. We're just gonna go from beginning to end as best we can without jumping around. So
mhm.
let's start with the Illuminati saga, everybody. So the Illuminati saga, it was a great comeback for a show that had been gone for years, right? It definitely, in my opinion, I am glad that how they kind of like reintroduced everybody in like those first two episodes because it had been a long time and I had forgot what the hell was even going on. I forgot who was who, so that was very much needed for
Hmm.
me. So I'm glad they did that. Overall, I think it was a decent arc. I can't remember his name. I believe his name is actually Shime, but the guy,
The pink
the guy
hair
with the
guy.
pink hair, right? It turns
Hold
out
on, I
that he
can
was.
get it to you.
You're gonna give me his
Renzo.
name?
Yeah, Renzo Shime.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So his name was Shime. Yeah. Yeah. So Shime ended up being a spy for the Illuminati, and we figured out that the Illuminati was this secret, underground organization that was basically made of demons led by Lucifer, who was the brother of the time demon. His name is skipping me right now, but he's the brother of the time demon.
Mephisto.
Mephisto. So there we
Yeah,
go. He was the
Mephisto.
brother of Mephisto, right?
Hmm.
And he's basically leading this organization. And he's trying to one regain his body, but
Hmm.
if he can't regain his body, he just wants to just blow up everything because apparently he's like a fucking ticking time bomb for whatever reason, right?
Hmm.
His body is unstable. Well, the way they kind of explained it is,
Yeah, because we get
um,
information on it in the Blue Knight saga.
yeah,
So
the way they kind of explained it is, his body is deteriorating and he's trying to hold on to this vessel, but if he can't hold on to the vessel, essentially all the power that he's been holding on because he's been holding on for so long is just gonna, erupt and explode, and it's basically gonna fuck up the world, right? So,
yeah,
not just their area is gonna fuck up the world.
yeah. And we kind of got a glimpse of what that looks like in the Blue Knight saga when Satan comes in, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah.
So like within the Blue Knight saga, we found out that like Shime was a double agent. Well, yeah, a double triple agent, if you will. Because technically he's working for the Illuminati, but he's also working for the Order inside the Illuminati.
It's so odd because I was talking to this to McMillian when it was first airing, right? It's
Mhm.
almost like Shime is really just playing the fence himself. Like he's really just a third party entity, and he just wants to see what happens. And he's playing both sides of the fence. He's influencing both sides, whichever's just in his favor at the time, really, for the
I mean,
most part.
based on what we got in Blue Knight Saga, I can understand why though, but we'll get there. And then with Beyond the Snow arc, this was a arc specifically focused on them trying to save their Rin and Yuki trying to save their master. Hold on, I'm trying to find her name. Uh, Shura Ki. Oh God,
Sure,
Kirigakure. Kirigakure. Uh,
Kikigakure.
she basically we basically found out that her family made a pact with the snow snake demon, and
Go figure.
go figure. Apparently that's why she's so good with a sword because that sword is bonded to a demon, and they get powers from it. And every so often a year, basically they're destined to like basically they're supposed to find a mate and produce a new child to take care of this snow demon. And Rin and Yuki were like, "Nope, we're not doing that this time.
Pretty
Fuck you."
much. We're not having that.
But basically, like that whole incident led Yukio to realize that like he's really kind of tired of being held out on like certain facts about like their life
Hmm.
because as you know Shura was also a somewhat adopted child of their granddad,
Hmm.
and she knew things about their mom and
Well,
stuff,
their
and
dad.
well their dad and their mom, she met their mom as well.
But yeah, well, you said granddad, so I'm just saying that was their dad,
Yeah, but
technically.
didn't he call, did they not call him like granddad too
No,
or
they called
something?
him
Yeah,
pops.
they go okay, my bad. Their dad. And like Yu-Gi-Oh kind of got upset. They're tired of that. He was tired of Rin apparently living
Tell me
what he,
who I am.
yeah, and also he was tired. He was got even more fed up because Rin was not didn't feel as disrespected as he did, and so he was like, "Fuck you, bro. Fuck all this shit. Fuck this happy life. I'm going to go hang with the ops."
Yeah, Ren said, "You know what? I'm sick of this. I want to know who I am. If I don't find out who I am, I'm gonna burn it all down.
You
I'm
can't.
gonna burn it all down."
Yeah. So Yuki on my shit list forever because what the hell.
Oh, before we go too far, I do want to say this one thing as well. But back in the Illuminati saga, right? It was also we had a little small arc with old girl. I can't remember her name, but she had her family was
Oh,
also a part of this demon clan. It was kind of interesting because
Izumo.
we saw two pacts with that these families made with demons, right? This one family made a made a pact with the demon fox, and the next family
Well,
made a pact with the demon snake.
well, for her, Izumo's family specifically, it wasn't necessarily that they made a pact with the demon fox. They were tasked to make sure she stayed sealed. Like, so technically it wasn't
And
like
so
a.
they had a pact with it.
I mean, but like it wasn't like the thing like the snake demon. It was a part. It was like a partnership.
I feel
For
you.
this one, it was like,
More
dude,
like jail. I feel
yeah, like
you.
they were like keeping prison of the demon.
Yeah, the demons was actively trying to take over, the body, kind of, similar to basically, the whole Naruto and Nine Tails story situation, right? And Nine
Yes, but
Tails wanted to take over so it could be, reanimated into the world and go and do fuck things, right? So,
mhm. Yeah, and we got the and Izumo's story. I mean, I think we talked about this before on the podcast, but because I'm kind of remember, but like Izumo's story was also really good. I did enjoy that whole her whole arc. Um, and even though it was pretty fucked up what her mom did, because Jesus, uh,
we're still on the demon spirit, the fox spirit, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah,
you
okay,
remember
yeah,
because like her
yeah, yeah,
mom,
yeah,
like the only reason she let the fox demon do it because her boyfriend was like, no, fuck you, I don't like you no more. I was like, what?
Oh yeah, but that was nice though, and overall I thought it was also cool how Shime was the holder of like he's some great demon, and
Yeah,
he
he.
get that demon has like the back fame, only second to Rien's blue flame, right? So I thought that was
Mhm.
cool as well.
Yeah, was Yaman Taka. I'm on the wiki right now scrolling. Every time we look for names, I'm scrolling.
Yeah, but I thought that was cool as hell as well. I
Mhm.
did like that as well.
Now, to get to the meat and potatoes first, the Blue Knight Saga. So we finally get to learn that the Order.
We learned the truth.
Yeah, we get to learn the truth about our main characters, and we also find out that the Order been on some fuck shit. I mean, for a while,
Go
for a
figure.
very long time. Um, like, so this one was interesting because it started off as like the after effects of the Beyond the Snow Saga. After like Rin awakened to his full powers and Yukio decided to peace out, we basically get Rin confronting Mephisto on like, hey, I gotta know everything now. And or like I don't really care like what you gotta say. I don't really care about this. I just want to get strong enough to like go get my brother and all this other stuff. And Mephisto's like, finally, you don't care.
Finally,
I will
you
now
want to
give
know
you
the
the
truth.
answers. Well, no, he said specifically. He's like, oh, you don't care to know, or you don't want to know. So now I'll tell you because Mephisto's a fucked up person. And so we get this whole arc of like just basically told from the aspect of their mom and their dad, their adoptive father, and we get to find out like what Lucifer's deal was. Surprisingly, he didn't have a deal for a while because he didn't exist for a while. He was apparently all the major demons that are named start off as concepts, and then they start to grow. And so Lucifer originally just showed up. I mean, not Lucifer. Satan originally showed up as just a blue flame that used to follow Ren and Yukio's mom around for reasons, and then because they don't. I mean, it doesn't know anything. It's not like it's doing it out of want, right?
I
Like it's just
mean, the reason was, one day it popped up in front of Yukio, not Yukio, well, yeah, in front
Yuri.
of their mother, right? And Yuri, thank you, Yuri. It popped up in front of Yuri, and Yuri just essentially befriended the Blue Flame, right? She could
Yeah,
see spirits and stuff, and she saw, him, and she basically just befriended it. Was just talking to it and just, generally being a nice kid to it, right?
yeah. And eventually, Yuri lived in a slum or ghetto of I guess Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And she eventually she had these two guardians who disappeared. Um, and then she ends up meeting Shiro as a child after he ran away from the order, and she ends up becoming like adopted by the order and becoming an ex-wire. We basically get to see all this, and we find out that Shiro was originally uh, a experimental child made to hopefully house Lucifer, because as it said, we found out in the Illuminati that Lucifer's body has been deteriorating. So Lucifer is looking for like the perfect vessel. So
Yeah.
the Order is trying to work with the like upper demons, so to keep humans safe and to hopefully like find Lucifer a vessel that he can keep in check, so that he don't fuck up the world.
Yeah.
We get to a point in the story where one of the vessels for Lucifer ends up getting stolen by Satan. And in also learning this, we found out that Yuri's original gardens, the reason they disappeared is because Satan tried to take them over and in the process killed them. So Yukio and Ren's dad, messed up individual.
Very.
Very. Eventually he does succeed in taking over one of the bodies and becomes the most maniacal son of a bitch to exist. Because he ends up, the moment he gets a body, he starts demanding things. So first it was like, I just want to spend time with Yuri. And for a while, that was fine. Then he asked for books. After that, it was all downhill.
It was a wrap.
After that, everything went downhill.
It was a wrap. Once that motherfucker gained knowledge.
Like, legitimate. I mean, granted, if you're watching this, most likely you have watched the season. But, like, for those that didn't, I just want you to know, Satan used to struggle with, like, the baby toy of matching blocks to block and stars, like, the shapes.
Put the circle in the square hole.
Yeah. He used to he used to struggle with that. Then that motherfucker went one book.
Well, it was a couple of books, but
well, I'm just saying, like, it started with one. Because he wanted to prove a point. He wanted to be better than Shira. and that led to him gaining knowledge. And after he gained knowledge, all bets were off. He started murdering people. He was like, I'm getting out of here. All y'all are lower than me. Nobody matter. Except Yuri. That's the only person. So they end up running away together. And then that's how Rin and Yukio basically, I ain't here to explain the birds and the bees to people, but you know. And then we get to see basically Shiro, he in this thing, him and Mephisto are trying to like develop a plan on how to like, I guess, get rid of Satan. And this is how Shiro ends up becoming so knowledgeable in all the different ways of exorcism and become a paladin, because he's trying to save Yuri from Lucifer, from Satan.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, they meet back up after Yuri runs away. Is that like, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, Yuri and Satan ran away. But like, Yuri comes back without Satan, and she comes back pregnant with his child.
Mm-hmm.
Then during the birth of the Blue Knight, right? During the Blue Knight, Satan shows back up because he's just looking for Yuri, and he's about to die at this point because also his body is deteriorating. I don't think we mentioned this fact, but any greater beings that takes a hold of a vessel, eventually their body will deteriorate, right? So like, eventually they go back to Geisha, I think it's called Gehenna. There you go. They eventually go back to Gehenna, right?
Yeah, or the other option is you become a pillar or something, like, because there's two beings in the story of Blue Exorcist that, like, after their bodies went away, they ascended, and they're like now just kind of like pillars or marvels of the world.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It was like that. They talked about that one wind spirit we saw, something like that. That guy, came almost like a protector. Yeah, of like that little basically, area.
Those are like the two options, but neither of them are really good, because if you go back to Gehenna, you're kind of just there. And if you become like a greater being or spirit, like, technically you're still just
there.
Yeah, I was about to say you're on Earth, but like you don't have a physical form anymore. You have no physical form, so like people can talk to you, you can't respond. You're just kind of like, so like Lucifer not Lucifer, Satan. Jesus Christ, Bible school brain is trying to take over my other brain.
Yeah, so Satan comes back after Yuri Gill's birth. Mm-hmm. And as his body is deteriorating, he's losing his mind as well, because he stayed too long in this vessel. He's supposed to have been left this vessel, but because his want to see Yuri was so strong, he stayed attached to the vessel for long enough, right? And he started losing his mind, unfortunately, right? as this man starts losing his mind, everybody, he goes crazy and he just starts searching for any vessel, and I mean any
Any.
vessel that's in the city. So throughout the entire city, Satan's just going from body to body to body, just trying to see if any of the people that he tries and takes a hold of will actually be able to hold him as a vessel, right? And so that's why throughout the entire night, throughout this city, you just see blue flames rising up all across the city. Everybody's, turning igniting on fire, instant combustion, right? Almost like fire force, right? Well, it ain't almost like exactly like fire force,
Mm-hmm.
right? Everybody just instantly combusting it and everything is crazy. But eventually, right after all that running around all night, he finally finds Shiro bitch ass again.
Mm-hmm.
And he grab a hold of his ass. And it turns out that Shiro is actually compatible with Satan.
With
And I
Satan.
mean like actually compatible. Like he can stay in Shiro for he
But
actually
the
chill in Shiro for a little bit,
but
right?
the issue with that is that Shiro is also strong enough to combat Satan.
Unfortunately.
So they have a duality. Like there's a moment where they have duality, and this is in the middle of all the shit popping off from uh, Rin. Because
Yes.
when Rin came out, he came out
Swing
sauced. He came out
it.
on 10 because he was murdering full-grown adult exorcists. And Yukio, when he was born, they weren't even like sure he was going to make it because he came out like stillbirth basically. He was like
Yeah.
they didn't know, and they couldn't even like inspect him because like if he was a demon, because Rin was popping off in that goddamn room.
To be fair, they were trying to kill him though. To be
they
fair.
were they were trying to kill him.
To be
To be
fair.
fair, they were trying to murder that child. So long story short, we learned that these what the I don't they're called something, but these older women, they kind of look like priests,
Yeah.
and they sit at the top of the order, but they don't like fully run it. They're like a part, I guess, like the advisory board kind of thing.
Some
We
shit like
find
that.
out
Yeah.
that
We just learned
they're
about them this
yeah,
season.
but we find out basically that they're essentially like angels, and they kind of like work opposite of Mephisto, Lucifer, Satan. Yeah, yeah. So one of them ends up like kind of sacrificing herself to get Satan back to Gehenna, like to just put him in the ether. She just ends up like killing herself, and then
She banished his ass
yeah,
essentially.
banishes him, and then Cheryl's like going to go. He tries to save Yuri, but she's too weak because of the birth. And the last thing we get is Yuri naming her kid and Cheryl promising to make sure that they live good lives.
Yes.
And this is where Shiro ends up talking to Mephisto. And at first, even though he promised, he really don't want to fucking raise these kids. he really don't.
Yes, he tried to hand them off.
He tried to hand them all to Mephisto, but Mephisto was like, "No, you're going to become. Not only are you going to raise these kids, you're also going to become the paladin. You're going to become leader of the order." And Shiro is pissed. He's like, "I don't want to do this, damn
Because
it."
he wanted to disappear.
He wanted to disappear. To be quite honest, I really feel like he wanted to go find Satan and murder his ass some way, but like he had no physical form. So how are you gonna do it? You know?
He was gonna find a way to get in, all right.
But so Mephisto tells him, "No, you go make sure these kids are raised strong enough because if you don't, they're basically going to be tormented by their father." Which he
Yeah.
was right about. Like
It,
if he,
it, it's crazy, but throughout the entire season, you just get this great dynamic between Yukio and Ran, right? Up to like the Blue Knight saga, because once again, Yukio's whole thing is just like his whole frustration was Ran is just really because like why he was upset at Ran because he didn't want to know anything about his past, right? About their past, where they came from. Like you didn't want to know anything about our mother, where we came from, what actually happened, why we actually here. Did we deserve to be born? Because we are the child of Satan. You don't want to know how the hell we got here, right? It's
yeah,
like
he basically became uh pissed at Ren's whole attitude of just kind
yeah.
of like carrying on because
That on top of Ren not caring, but also kind of like still benefiting from his whole heritage, right? And
Mhm.
on that, and on top of him always saving Yukio as well. On top of that, right? Because Yukio also wanted to be strong. Because I'm not mistaken, Yukio is the older brother. I think
No, Ren's the older
is Ren
one,
the older brother. Ren might be the older brother,
but
but
Yukio entered the world of exorcism first.
first, yes,
So that was kind of like always a thing with them. And Yukio, especially, I think a lot of these feelings became exacerbated because he started to awaken to his demon power.
Yeah.
and it was scaring the shit out of him. As opposed to like Ren, who to his classmates, he's like the saving grace. He's the big guns.
Yeah.
He's like praised for it. But Yukio, because so long he lived without being, say like people thought he just didn't get any power.
Yeah.
So they were like, "Oh, it's cool. Like we won't put a death mark on him like we did his brother. But if they ever find out, Yukio was worried because I'm not as he still wasn't as strong as Ren, even though he awakened this to Sage's power. He was like, if they know, will I be accepted? Because I'm not like my brother.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm still not as strong. Will I become like a test subject? All this other stuff. So he was like, "Peace out. I'm coming to the Illuminati." And which we found out in the backstory, the Illuminati essentially is just another form of the Order. They just separated. They were like after the Blue Knight
Essentially.
saga, they just kind of like went away because the Illuminati, while their main focus is trying to get Lucifer a body, I think another one of their things is also trying to figure out how to best make a body for Lucifer so Satan can also have a body. Because
Yeah. They
Lucifer,
they made a pact during the Blue Knight saga because for whatever reason, when Satan was born, it automatically became known to all the demons that he was
he
just
was the
him,
king.
right?
He was
That he
him.
was him.
He
So
was Himothy.
so even Lucifer in his weakened state, he understood that he was like, "Oh, Father, if I get my body back, I'm gonna do my best to make sure I get you back as well
Mhm.
and all that." So they kind of ended up making a pact as well. So now it's also another. It's really a fight between four brothers, right? Because
Mhm.
you have the duality between Yuki and Ren is going on, but then you also have the fight
Yeah,
between Mephisto and
Mephisto and
Lucifer,
Lucifer.
right?
Mhm.
Because one Mephisto is raising once again Yuki and Ren in order to defeat old boy, right? Lucifer, and then not Lucifer, Satan, right? And but then Satan also has this pact with Lucifer, like, hey, if you can get a body ready before my other body is ready, I'll work with you instead, right? So
Yeah, so now it's
it's
like Lucifer
crazy.
has Yukio and Mephisto has Ren. So like
Yeah.
it's wild. But suffice to, I say all this to say Blue Knight Saga popped the fuck off, and it really
Yeah.
set the stage for like the next arc, which I can safely say I'm very excited to see where
Oh
Blue
yes,
Exorcist moves
yes,
from this.
100%. Another thing I also liked about how like the Blue Knight saga unfolded was actually how Ram was there, but like not there essentially. Like I just love that because he was seeing everything in real time, first person hand POV, and you just got to see all the raw emotions on his face as stuff was happening in real time and stuff like that.
It
It was
was
just nice.
there were moments in it where I thought it was just really cool to have Ren there because he basically got to come to terms with everything surrounding his life in
Yes.
that moment, and he was like, he started to I feel like he started to understand where his brother was coming from or wanting to know
Yeah.
because he was just like, Jesus Christ, like this is insane, right? Like the level that are coming about even like you know happened is just wild.
Yeah. But then and at the end of the day, he came to the conclusion though everybody deserves life. He basically, he
Hmm.
that was the same thing, his pop was saying at the end of the day, even though these are the children of Satan, you believe that, everybody, deserves life, everybody deserves to live, right? It's not these kids' fault they was born, the
Hmm.
child the child of Satan, right? So but that was nice as well. And then just all the way going back to the reasoning, Satan was able to even take a hold of Shiro, right? During episode one, right? During when Satan, when it was their birthday, right? And Satan came to try and
Oh
take
yeah,
over,
we
Ren's
I
body
forgot
and all that stuff.
we even got that.
Yeah.
We even got to see that it wasn't necessarily just what Ren said that said it. It was the fact that Satan had found Shiro in his old age and was taunting him
Well, he never left him. He
relentlessly.
always kept
Well,
eyes
yeah,
on him. But
true, but I'm just saying like it became worse as he got
yeah, as,
older.
as as he got older, yeah, it became worse because the older he got, the less mentally fortitude he was, and so he couldn't really hold back Satan from actually trying to take over his body. It's just crazy, man.
Yeah,
It's just
they did
crazy.
such a but that honestly like Blue Knight Saga popped off. It was
Yes, it
so
was done
good.
so well. It was done so well.
Hmm.
It was done so well. It was nice. And then all of it to end with Ren meeting face to face with Yukio, and of course fading to black after that. But going and confront his brother, like, hey, I sat here, I went through the storm, I unlocked my full powers, I know the truth now. You coming back home? We finna resolve this.
Yeah. Yeah, So suffice to say, me and Ace very excited for when the story decides to continue. I'm really looking forward
100%.
to when it comes back. So overall rating, my friend. Ooh,
Over, well, this is a lot to do, but I think overall a solid 8 for all 3 seasons together in one.
mhm.
I'm gonna give it a solid 8. Right. Very,
Yeah,
very, very, very strong comeback for Blue Exorcist. Once again, it was a cult classic. It had a fantastic return, and then also a banger of a. It's not necessarily an ending, but ending for its return, if you will.
yeah, I would agree. Very, I would agree. Also, high eight. Like it was very strong of a return. Um, especially being gone for so long, it's crazy to come back and be able to pull off such an interesting chain of events, right? Like to be so well done, it was just really nice to see and
Yeah,
a great return to form for him.
and and for me, I really appreciated that my enjoyment increased as the arcs went on. Right, from
Yeah,
arc to arc, I just kept enjoying it more and more. Right,
there
it
was
just kept getting better and better.
the investment got heavier is what I is how I felt like them coming back. It was like easy to reconnect with the characters, but I was like I really want something that kind of like latch onto, and I felt like they kept giving it to me as it went. It was just really nice to see.
No, 100%, 100%, 100%. Well, all right, everybody, that's everything that we have for this week. Please let us know down below in the comments what was your favorite thing that we talked about this week. Anything in particular that we didn't discuss about these shows that that you guys may want to discuss, and also, what did you guys think about the anime awards, everybody? Do you think that Solo Leveling deserved Anime of the Year, everybody?
Oh, because I know we probably started some fights with that one, but yeah, no, please let us know. With all that being said, we're gonna go ahead and get up out of here. But as always, if you enjoyed everything that we did here today and all the normal stuff, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button over on YouTube. If you're listening to this on our only platforms, follow the podcast, share with your friends and family. We really appreciate it. If you want to stay up to date on all things about the council, hit us up on social media. It's at Gurren Otaku's over on Twitter and at Gurren Otaku Council everywhere else that you can find us. Um, like I said, guys, keep enjoying this anime season. Catch us weekly for our reactions to One Piece and
Weekly.
To Be Hero X. And with all that being said, appreciate you guys. This is Gurren Otaku Council saying meeting adjourned. Peace out, everybody.